Hey guys, what is going on? So it's about 10:15 or so, 10:15 p.m. and I actually just got back from southern Wisconsin. Unfortunately, I didn't have my camera on me, but it was kind of wet outside. It was raining the entire way. I just ended up getting caught in the rain. That wasn't really fun, just because I didn't have the proper clothing. But as it's kind of late and as it's really slippery outside, I thought, why not go out and just kind of tell you guys how the Kymco behaves in the rain at night. It's not actually raining right now, but I don't know if you guys can see this. The road, it looks slippery, and I think it stopped raining maybe half an hour ago or so. So how does the Kymco Downtown behave at night and during wet road conditions? Well, as far as riding the downtown at night is concerned, I have to say that the bike does extremely well. Now obviously the downtown is a 300cc maxi scooter, so having good lights is basically a must-have, and Kymco actually does. So again, I don't know how well this comes off on camera, but the regular lights, the regular headlights are extremely bright, and they do a fantastic job illuminating the road. I'm actually going to pass through some neighborhoods that really do not have a lot of lighting, so you guys can kind of see for yourself, and then I'll go through some areas where there is some decent light. But I think you guys will see that the lights work exceptionally well. Again, I don't know how well this is coming off on camera, but they do a really good job, at least in my opinion, when it comes to illuminating the road. Again, I couldn't really tell you, how far they actually do illuminate the road, but we have dual headlights up front, and again, in my opinion, they do a really good job. It's pretty much like sitting in a car and driving. You get really nice illumination, which again, that's the most important thing. That's not always the case when you're buying a 50cc or a 150cc. In most cases, a 50cc scooters will have headlights that are not really powerful. They pretty much are useless in the dark, but that's not the case with maxi scooters, and not the case with Kymco as well. Again, extremely good job getting the road bright for you. So again, even right now, there is some street lighting here. Actually, let's go here. This road doesn't look like this one's a bit sketchy, but it doesn't look like it has a lot of street lights on it, but again, I can pretty much see everything that's ahead of me, yeah, so as far as that's concerned, the downtown does a really good job. Actually, I'm gonna turn around right here because this looks like they've taken the pavement actually off, so it's probably a bit slick or slippery riding on here. But yeah, the regular headlights do an amazing job. Now when it comes to the high beams, I did actually notice that, and I'll put those on. Again, they obviously will give you much more visibility, and they will illuminate your surroundings even more. One thing that I've noticed is that they tend to kind of brake. I don't know if you guys can see those brakes and on the street, but they're not as even as the regular headlights are. So most of the time, to be honest, I don't even turn them on. I just use my regular headlights, and I just find them to be just kind of much better and much cleaner altogether. I do like the fact that Kymco also gives you the trigger, which serves as the passing light trigger. So it's just here on the left on the left side, and it's kind of useful. I use it especially at night if I'm approaching an intersection and there's somebody approaching it as well. I just kind of, you know, click it twice just so they can see that I'm actually there. So in that sense, I find that to be really useful. Now, what is it like riding in the rain? Well, it's actually it's better than I thought it would be. I actually got caught in the rain a couple of times, not on purpose. I was just out and about and it started pouring. Now, obviously, the number one thing that you will need when you're riding in the rain is proper gear. I didn't have that on me today or any other time that I was caught in the rain. But I did notice that at speeds above about 40 miles per hour or so, which is about maybe 60 or so kilometers, the bike does a really good job of getting that water just away from you. And that's just mainly due because the front of the bike is extremely wide, so your legs, they get decent protection, and then so does your upper body. Unfortunately for me today, I actually didn't have my helmet on. I just had a cap, and I was fortunate actually to have my sunglasses. Otherwise, the little drops of rain, when they hit your face, it hurts extremely actually. It hurts a lot. So again, I was fortunate enough to have had my sunglasses, which were able to kind of, you know, save my eyes and shield my eyes. But the bike by itself does a really good job, and there's literally nothing to complain about. So again, riding at night is again totally fine. In fact, actually, I've had the bike for about, I think, less than 3 months, and currently it's reading 5,405 kilometers. I got the bike with about 800 kilometers, so that's about that's more than 4,500 kilometers in about 2.5-3 months or so. And I've taken the bike on some journeys as well, some road trips, which were around, I don't know, I think the longest one that I took it on was about maybe 250 miles altogether. And there was one session where I rode the bike for about an hour during similar conditions to these. It was about 9:30 p.m. It was pretty dark outside actually, and I was driving on these country roads, no street light whatsoever. The moon wasn't out, and the bike did a really good job, or the headlights up front did a really good job of illuminating the road in front of me. Now this road right here that I'm on is literally, there is 0 street lights on it. Again, I don't know if you guys can see that. There is 0 street lights ahead of me, and then I pretty much see probably a few hundred feet in front of me. The lights do that good of a job, and these are the high beams. Now you guys can see those. Again, both do an extremely good job of illuminating the road, but I do stick with just my regular headlights, as I just kind of find them to be a bit sleeker and more consistent, if that makes any sense. And maybe you guys will see that on the camera. Hopefully that actually comes across as how I actually see it when in person. So yeah, I'm really happy with how the bike behaves. Now, as far as, since I'm actually riding in some slippery conditions, as far as the bike's behavior in these slippery conditions is concerned, the bike does a good job actually. It does a really good job again of shielding your body, but when it comes to riding in the rain, that's the bike does fine. So as long as you have some decent tires on your bike, you'll be fine. A couple of pro tips. Now, that was a main cover hole, I think that's what they're called, the sewage cover. They are obviously made of metal, and metal, especially when it's wet, it's extremely slippery. So one thing that you should definitely do is, when you're riding in the rain, is avoid those main hole covers. I think that's what they call them in the United States. Just avoid those, especially if you see them. because they again, they are extremely slippery, and if you tend to brake when you're on top of one, that will definitely make your bike kind of skid and slip. So just kind of something to keep in mind. But again, as I've said, as long as you got a proper gear and you're, you know, confident on your bike, then rain shouldn't really be a problem. And again, as I've said, the bike does a really good job of shielding your body. And again, I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's like so much body in front of you that all the rain, when it's falling down, it just hits the front of the bike and it just kind of goes all over the place, and it's shielding your literally everything from your torso to your legs, which is really cool actually. And if you have proper gear, then you're set. There is literally nothing to worry about. So yeah, overall, again, I'm extremely happy with how the Kymco has been behaving, you know, since I've actually had it. I don't think I've had any. I didn't have any issues whatsoever. One issue that well, actually, this happened 2 times. Once I was just riding. I don't know. I was going into the grocery store, and then the engine just kind of cut off on me at a stoplight. I ended up turning it back on, and everything was fine. Must have been maybe my spark plug or something. I don't know. I ended up changing the spark plug, and then since then it's been fine. And I think another issue that I've had was I had the battery die on me a couple of times, and that's just because, which is kind of annoying, there is a little light under the seat which is pretty much useless, especially in the way that it's positioned. And a couple of times I forgot to, or I didn't forget, I just didn't close the seat properly, so the light ended up staying on and ended up draining the battery. One time, which this was really unfortunate, it truly sucked. I went to the park to jog, which is about 5 miles away from my home, and I started jogging. I got off my bike, I jogged for about maybe a mile or so, and it started to kind of rain just a tiny bit. So, you know, I rushed to get on my bike to head home, and then the bike wouldn't start, and it wouldn't start because it started to rain. So I ended up, I believe I called my mom. My mom came to pick me up, and then I had to leave the bike there. Like, what am I supposed to do? I left the bike there in the rain, and then I had to come back a few hours later, bring a charger, and then charge the battery through my car using one of those inverted chargers and whatnot. And that took about 30 minutes or so until I could start the bike up, and that was kind of annoying. So I actually ended up disconnecting that light under the seat. I think right now it's connected, but most of the time I just keep it disconnected because it's really useful. And then again, the seat, even though it's closed and whatnot, you'll think it's closed unless it latches all the way and it's properly latched. That light will stay on, and that will drain your battery. So that's kind of annoying. And as I've said, that actually happened to me a few times. That wasn't the only time that it happened to me. Once it happened to me in my garage, which again, that wasn't a big deal because I was in my garage. I can just use a battery charger to charge up my battery. But again, it's a hassle. And just, I guess, speaking about this whole issue, one of the reasons why it is a hassle is because the battery on the Downtown is located under the seat, and the only way to get to it is to actually remove the seat. Now, that's not a big deal. It doesn't take a long time for you to remove the seats. There's only, like, I think 4 bolts and 2 nuts, I think. But again, it's kind of an annoyance and whatnot. I know I've seen people actually, and I did this myself, they'll connect those cables to your battery and just kind of have them sitting in the trunk. So in case this happens, or in case you're gonna have the bike sitting for a long time, you can just kind of trickle charge your battery that way without removing the seat. So I ended up doing that. I ended up cutting a hole in my seat, so I can have those cables running through the battery into the seat compartment, or under the seat compartment, or the storage compartment, and that way I don't have to take the seat out every single time I wanna leave the bike or my battery is dead and whatnot. It just kind of makes things a bit easier. So one of the, I guess, one of the downsides as far as that's concerned. But anyways, again, as I've said, the bike is a fantastic bike. And again, right now it's 10:30. Now obviously this street, as you guys can see, is well illuminated. There's a ton of street lights and whatnot, so my lights pretty much are not even needed. But the neighborhoods that I rode through just a few moments ago, they didn't have any lights whatsoever, and it's fine. It's totally fine. You see a few hundred feet in front of you, you're safe. You know, people see you. The backlights, the backlight actually is huge. The entire backlight assembly is really huge, so if there's a car behind you, they'll see you. They for sure will see you. So again, nothing really to complain about. I'm extremely happy with when it comes to riding the Kymco at night, and I actually feel really safe. I'm not somebody who wears those super highly visible clothing all the time, especially like during the day and whatnot. And even right now, it's 10:30 and I have like a dark blue hoodie on. But again, I feel totally safe because that light on the back is so big, and then my lights up front do an extremely good job. There is no way that somebody will not see me. Now obviously, if it was raining really hard, now that could probably make things a bit more difficult. Sometimes I remember once when I got caught in the rain, I just ended up turning my hazard lights on. Just kind of helps other people see me that I'm on the road too as well. But in those cases, I would recommend you have something, maybe like one of those super highly visible vests that you can kind of put on, just because again, the lights on the Kymco are big, but when it's raining extremely hard, it's even difficult to see cars and whatnot. So just something to keep in mind. But again, as I've said, I have never felt unsafe riding in the Kymco pretty much in any conditions. So again, extremely happy with the Kymco, extremely happy with how the bike behaves. Pretty much nothing to say. I'm actually hoping that maybe in the next couple of days I'll get to document one of my road trips, just so you guys can kind of see what's it like when you're taking the Kymco out on those country roads. And I think those country roads where the speed limit is anywhere between like 45 and 65 are where the bike shines. Currently I'm on a road where the speed limit is 30, and riding the Kymco throughout downtown and whatnot, it's totally fine. The bike is easy to handle, it's easy to ride, it's fun. But when you're doing I'm doing 30 right now, about 30 or so, like even a slight pull of the throttle just kind of makes the bike go accelerate quickly, which basically is telling me that the bike wants to go faster. So when you're on those country roads where the speed limit is whatever 40, 45 to 65, and you're doing about 60, then that's where the bike shines. It really does. It handles well, and then at about 65 or so, I think the bike is turning around maybe 6,000 RPM, and it's ideal for its engine. It really is. Now obviously, I think I did a few test runs, or actually did. The video is posted. The bike is quick to accelerate, probably average for this class and whatnot. I didn't do a top speed run. The top speed is I think it's about 95 miles per hour, which is about, I don't know, maybe 150 kilometers per hour or so. I personally never got it to that speed. The highest that I went on it was about 85, and that was GPS verified, and that was on the highway. I ended up getting on the highway and whatnot just to see how the bike cruises on the highway. And at 85, to be quite honest, I was a bit nervous, not because the bike didn't feel safe. The bike felt pretty much the same going 85 as it does 65. It's stable, but being on the highway, you have gazillion trucks passing, you know, by you and whatnot. And it's just kind of scary, because, you know, when a truck passes next to you, or when the truck, you know, is passing in the opposite direction to you, you feel that wind. You feel it. And when you're going 85, you know, that wind will kind of make you, you know, move kind of all over the place. And then if there is something on the road and the bike or ends up moving in a certain directions where you didn't want it to move, you know, that can call for trouble and whatnot. But yeah, I was cruising at 85 for about, I think about maybe 30 miles or so. I ended up going to Chicago, and ended up on 90 for the last 30, or I-90, Interstate 90 for the last 30 miles. And again, it was fine. I was doing 85, and so the issue with that is, even though the speed limit is 70, everybody is doing like 90, 95. So even at 85, I'm not taking anybody over. People are actually flying by past me, and that's kind of annoying. So you know, 300 cc's, theoretically, again, suitable for highway and whatnot, but you know, even at 85, cars are actually passing you. And then when you're going 85, if you want to overtake somebody, there isn't really much power left in the bike. That's one thing that I noticed, is up until about 70, the bike accelerates really well and it has a lot of power, maybe 75, and then at 75 or so, it just kind of slows down. So if you're going 75 and you want to overtake somebody, and you push on the throttle, or you turn the throttle all the way, not a lot happens. You know, the bike accelerates, but it doesn't accelerate in such a manner that, you know, will be safe for you to overtake somebody, especially not on the freeway, just because, you know, it will speed up, but again, not in such a manner that is intended for overtaking and whatnot. So again, up to about 75, you're all good, but after that, the bike, again, it still keeps accelerating, but again, just not in a manner that is safe when it comes to overtaking people. But yeah, that's actually pretty much it. I think that's everything that I wanted to say. So again, fantastic bike. Definitely, if you're planning on buying one and, you know, you have some concerns when it comes to, I don't know, maybe reliability, rideability, quality and whatnot, you can shoot me a comment and whatnot, and I'll be happy to tell you guys pretty much, you know, anything you guys ask me. But overall, the bike is it's a good bike. It's really a good bike, and I would definitely recommend it to anybody who is interested in buying one. The quality is good, the engine is good, the transmission actually. So maybe one gripe that I have with the Kymco is that the transmission is great. It does a really good job. It can be somewhat noisy sometimes, which I guess is normal for CVT transmissions anyways, but it can make this really, I don't know, kind of a screechy, not screechy, I don't even know how to define it, this noise which isn't really pleasant to the ears at certain RPMs, which again, I guess that can be fixed with a different clutch and whatnot, and a different bell. And I actually have a Malossi bell coming in. I think it's gonna be delivered tomorrow, so I'll just kind of, you know, switch between it and my OEM clutch. But that's just one thing. And then some people have noted, and I can actually confirm this, that sometimes you can feel, especially upon acceleration, from a standstill point, you can feel the clutch slip just a tiny little bit. And to be quite honest, if you get on the bike and you ride it and whatnot, I don't think you'll be able to tell, just because I've had the bike for, or I have ridden the bike for, you know, 5,000 kilometers almost. I know what it is, so I can feel it and whatnot. But other than that, there's really no issues whatsoever. The bike has been extremely reliable. I haven't done anything to it other than make those adjustments to the battery, and the bike has been a total champion and whatnot. I'm at 5,000 kilometers right now. You know, I plan on putting, you know, 5,000 by the end of the summer, and then probably another 10,000 throughout the fall and whatnot. So I'll probably be at about 20,000 by the end of the year, and then it's gonna be probably another, you know, 40,000 next year and whatnot. So just because, again, I use the bike literally to do pretty much everything, just because it actually, that's what it's intended for. So again, if you guys have any questions, just let me know, and then I'll be happy to answer them. Yeah, I'm actually home. Yep, I made it home. So that's pretty much for this one, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.